Prepare yourself for invasion. This is Indie Invasion.
That always gives me Mac. It always gives me chills. Ooh.
Live from the internet. It's Thursday night, right?
Yep, it is Thursday night. Are we live? I'm watching our little thing to see if
we
somebody
are
jumps in.
live. I don't see anybody jumping in yet, but we are live.
I know there's a little bit of lag, but if you guys are joining, welcome to Indie Invasion Podcast.
Welcome. The fastest 30 minutes in gaming.
Yes, we got that. We do have a banner for that. Thanks to Clem giving us this idea.
That's right. Absolutely. Oh, and hello, Elton. He has joined us on Twitch.
All right. Welcome in on
Hello.
If you guys are jumping in
Clem
on Twitch.
is there on Twitch as well. There we go. Get some people watching on Twitch. Get those whatever.
Whatever the requirements, whatever it needs.
I don't know what the requirements are. Tim, hey, what's happening, Tim? So, okay, before we jump in, because it should be obvious what we're talking about tonight, and I am completely out of my element with this.
It's a new one for you.
Yeah, completely out of my element. Although I did look into it a long time ago. Just you and I were talking before that it was hard to find when I was looking at it in first edition. So, there's Alder. Good morning. Yeah, we're on that daylight savings craziness here. We need to just get rid of that. That's like a whole show right there.
Yeah,
right?
That's a
daylight savings. That's a whole show right there. No, but since we were talking about Kickstarter and everything, I wanted to point out, in case anybody hasn't gone over and checked it out, we talked about Mothership a few weeks back, the sci-fi horror RPG game, and it's on Kickstarter right now, and it is going nuts. I think they needed something like $20,000 to get everything done, and they're almost at $1 million.
Yeah, can you imagine that? Now, this is from a pure indie game company.
Two guys,
yeah. That when they originally released this, it was like the little pamphlet.
Yep.
Not really any kind of play testing other than what they did, on their own. And now it's like they're basically getting to see their vision for this game and the old classic, RPG box set, original D&D white box and, those 80s boxes. So that's really cool. It's really cool.
It's cool. They're doing good. Clem makes a good point that can lead to all sorts of issues, but it appears that they're doing it right. Like, they're not going crazy and adding stretch goals, and a lot of the stretch goals that they are adding are PDFs,
stuff they already planned kind of to do. So
so I think that they, so far anyway, they still have like 25 days left in the Kickstarter, but I think that they seem to be handling it pretty well. So I hope that they continue to do that and don't do exactly like I know your brain went to of overreaching, because I could imagine it's super easy to get excited about that when you see you needed 20,000 and you're at almost $1 million to just go, hey, we're going to throw all this stuff out there and then get bogged down. So yeah. Mini Warmut says the bottom of the banner screams Zombicide. Yes, kind of.
But well, what are we going to talk about? If you guys couldn't tell, we're going to be talking all about Monsterpocalypse tonight. And we actually have a guest with us tonight, Mac.
What?
This is a go-to, if dare I say, expert. Because I've known him for many, many years, and he's all over Monpoc, as we like to call it. But
no pressure on him.
No, I'm putting pressure on him right now.
So no mistakes from this guest. Got it.
Our guest tonight is one of you've seen him usually in the chat. This is Craig Thompson Wood, otherwise known as Spazfist in the gaming community. And let me bring him in here. Ready, Spaz? Here you come. Bam!
Pressure. There's the pressure. All right, I've got my red pen out for any mistakes. So
And here, I'm going to give him some plugs. If you guys haven't checked out Spaz's channel, Teaching with Board Games on YouTube, go check it out. Give him a like, a follow, subscribe, see what he's got going on there. Your channel is all about basically using games in educational purposes, right?
Yeah, and how they have educational elements, and just for teachers, parents, anybody who wants to just learn and develop skills and whatever. It's just as a student, when I was a kid, I was a terrible student.
No.
Yep. But through the play of games, especially like when we started to get into things like champions and GURPS, where it's like, okay, you got like so many points to make a character, and I got like really into I just loved making characters. I never played like half of the characters I made, but just all that math you do in making those characters, my math skills just started coming together, and it just really sort of always resonated with me. And as a teacher, it's always been something I've done, is just trying to make the education more fun, make learning fun through gamification, through gameplay.
Three amigos. So
had a fourth one walking around behind us there for a minute. He's going to be mortified that he was on live.
Oh man,
he can like
tweet
the fourth
that.
Musketeer, right?
I'm pretty sure he just realized that. You will not see him again. I guarantee it.
He can TikTok it.
I see an elbow or something.
I saw the elbow. That chair's gonna move in just a second, though. All right, well, let's talk Monpoc then, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm on the fence with this one because I don't play a lot of board game-ish type games. I like Zombicide.
Mm-hmm.
That's about the extent of board game type games that I like. But like I was talking with Eric about before this, in the first edition, and I have no idea how much I missed it by, but I was looking to get into it and I couldn't find it anywhere. And I thought it was kind of cool looking. So it just kind of fell to the wayside. So convince me. Still haven't bought that resin printer. So you guys did not convince me enough yet. Although I was really tempted because I got one of those eBay offers where I was watching it and the dude sent me like 20% off. So it was really tempting. So convince me to buy Monsterpocalypse.
So let's give a quick, brief history. I got into the game years and years ago. It's where I met you, Spaz, as a purpose to play games with my kid. And Monsterpocalypse, for you guys don't know, it's basically a giant monster kaiju battle game published by Privateer Press. I think it first came out in 2008. I could be wrong.
Like that. Yeah, I think that's about right.
And that was first edition, which was basically it's random boosters. You were buying boosters to get the monsters and the units to build up your force. And then they rebooted it at second edition in, I think it was fall of 2018. I found it actually at Gen Con that year. And then now, which is something we're going to focus on a little bit later, the Kickstarter that they're doing in partnership with Mythic Games. And we'll kind of talk about this. And I think one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because, they got the Kickstarter going. The game's been around forever, and most people I've heard of it. But I've had a lot of people asking me, sending me messages and say, do you know what the deal is with this? Just because they know I played back in the day.
Right.
And I've looked into it, and me and Spaz have talked about the game many, many times since, that was 2012. I think it was the last time I actually played regularly. But we wanted to go over kind of a little bit of the game, what it's about.
2013 would have been the last MonCon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the last time I played this game with all you guys. We had a great community, and it still has a great community.
It was the best community ever. I mean, I'm not saying that with any exaggeration. I mean, the Blood Bowl community in Ontario, Quebec is fantastic. But Monpoc, I still hold just slightly above that. It was just something magical about that community that was created for that original Monpoc. Anyway, that's a little off topic. But,
yep. And if you guys want to check it out, I got a little ticker going so you can check it out. Their website, monsterpocalypse.com. That's the most recent one. You can look into it. They have all the factions and a little bit of info.
And I'm sure no one that's watching has any idea how to find Kickstarter.
You can get the rule book off there. You can get stat cards, campaign resources, miniature line, and most importantly, where you can buy it. But that's the gist of that. So I guess let's start with an overview of the world. Since Mac, we're going to be telling you all about this, and you got your browser off, right? Because I know you.
Heck no. Are you crazy? If my browser's off, I can't go look stuff up. If I can't go look stuff up, I can't click buy it now.
Yeah, I know. So I mentioned already that it's a game with giant monsters that you build support forces and you smash through the city to be the last monster standing. Real quick, the newer
Mike
stuff
just bought both starters.
has hobby minis for the big monsters and stuff for you to build. It's got weapons and abilities that are activated by special dice. And then within the game, I may have this wrong now, Spaz, there's 2 main agendas with about 8 to 9 factions within those agendas. And
They're always adding more, so I don't know what they're up to now. But
okay.
Yeah,
and it's basically protectors, destroyers, you know.
that's it. That's just down to protectors and destroyers now.
And there's mercenaries too that you can pick from too, right?
No.
Okay. But that's basically the overworld view of the world. Did I miss anything, Spaz? I mean, it's kaiju monsters battling, right? It's a battle game.
Yeah, like people sometimes liken it to chess, like because it's very strategic and where you're putting things, but it does involve dice. There's just so many levels of strategy in the game, from the because you choose the map that you play on, you choose the buildings that you bring as you part of your force. The buildings you choose are part of your force selection. The units you choose, the monsters you choose, and how they all come together. I've likened it to like an orchestra of instruments all playing, and when you can get them to play together nicely, it just creates beautiful music. And that to me is like the height of Monpok. That thing, the metal Cybercon.
So there you go, Mini Warmutt. That's one of the older ones too, right? From first edition.
Yeah, this is first edition. It was a special little thing that they did, but it's the same size as the plastic pre-painted model.
And I know most of the stuff that you build for terrain wise, and the terrain is actually really small. The buildings and stuff.
Yeah, it's just the buildings.
They're representative of those kaiju. And Mike wants to know if you could still bring Voltron.
No Voltron currently. They don't have
a current stat card for them, right?
Yeah, I mean they don't have any of those what they call the morphers, where they have like several units that form into the big thing. Probably because what happens now is that I guess I can still work with them. But anyway, you start with the alpha, and you can't switch back and forth between alpha and hyper like you could in the first edition.
Oh, okay.
So once you kill the alpha, you go right up to hyper. Anyway, that's the size. That's one of the monsters. That's the size of a monster.
Now they're not going to be blind boosters this time around, right?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, and that's with the second edition. The second edition is more of your hobby mini game, where a lot of us are like, oh, this is cool. We can buy these, build them, paint them how we want. And I know you mentioned, Spaz, that some of them could be a little finicky in building, which is fine for experienced hobbyists, but it was also something that held people back because not only that, but the price too, right?
Yeah. And you're a little bit of finicky. No. They were totally finicky. Some of them were like a pain in the ass to put together. I am a modeler of like, 30 years experience, 30 plus years experience of modeling. Some of them drove me nuts trying to put them together. They were horrible. I mean, honestly, I loved the game, but I hated the models, like putting them together. Some of the worst models I've ever had to put together.
Okay.
And I'm looking at these, seeing them now in the Kickstarter, and they're all one piece plastic. And it's like, I kind of wish I just waited.
If you think the Monpok ones are bad, you clearly haven't tried to assemble any of the Robotech skirmish game.
No.
I thought he was going to say something else there, Spaz. I was getting my phone ready.
No, twisted models are easy to put together.
There we go.
Twisted models are easy. In fact, I recommend you go and look on the Demented website and purchase yourself some just so you can practice building. Or go to discovergames.net. You can get them there too.
Okay, so I want to move into something about Monsterpocalypse. What makes it stand out? We've kind of touched on a little bit of this for people to kind of decide for themselves. What makes this game stand out? Why maybe I might want to try it. I think it comes down to the gameplay. And you mentioned a little bit of this is the tactics, right? Which, you have the spawning, the moving around on like the grid map, engaging with the enemy units, and like you said, kind of the force building. It has a lot of strategy in that force building, which I always thought was intriguing. That was very early for me in my gaming experience of force building, whereas like with Warhammer, you kind of just took everything. This game really forced you to make decisions of, okay, what do I want to do out on that map? And you got to try and take ones, overall what's based on your map that you're picking.
Oh, see, that wouldn't work for me. I'd be like, this one looks cool.
And you
That's
start
why
like that.
this one looks
You
cool.
can start like that. You can go with what looks
No, I
cool.
don't ever get past that. I never get past that. That's why I quit playing 40K. I never get past that. If it looks cool, I'm putting it on the table, whether I win or lose.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that one. I like that strategy. But I found at the beginning when I was like that, I like these. They're cool. I'll put them on. And as I grew, and I grew out of that Mac phase and got into the more I want to win
Best
phase, and then it was amazing how quickly it was like, even like I think back in the day when we were playing single monster, it was like 15 units you could have in your force, and it was like suddenly it's the 15, which at first seemed like I'm rich, I can take whatever I want. Suddenly it became so restrictive. When it's like I'm so limited, I can only take I need these, I need these, I need these. How am I going to fit this one in? Trying to get the force you need. And like now the game now really focused on 2 monster games, so 2 monsters versus 2 monsters, and you're allowed 20 units.
Okay,
So
a lot more flexibility then.
A lot more. It's a little more flexibility though.
Okay.
But to me, the game shines is just one in the visual appeal. When people walk in and see you playing Monsterpocalypse, they're just like, whoa, they're drawn in. Giant buildings everywhere, giant monsters. The next thing they're watching you play, and your monster picks up the other monster and like throws it into a cluster of buildings, which all like crumble into this burning rubble, and then the monsters get back up and comes back at you. And it's just the whole. It's like pro wrestling with giant monsters. It's just. Even when you're dying and losing, you're having a great time because you're just watching this. It's just this whole thing unfolding before you, and it's almost like the gamer achievement to say like you destroyed every building in the whole city. Yes, I got them all.
Yeah,
it's just the city just gets leveled by the end of the game because that's your main source of damage.
We got a few comments to look at real quick here. Mike said the dire ants were no fun to put together. Were those one of the ones you hated?
They were one, but they were pleasant compared to the Reapers.
Okay. And then Bob throws in there. Bob, I'm guessing you're talking about Baron Zemo from Crisis Protocol, but he says you haven't experienced pain until you've seen Zemo's elbow pads. And then Mike said Shuri's Panther gauntlets. That's definitely Crisis Protocol. And Mini Warmut is currently shopping at Miniature Market.
Yeah, they're all on sale. I was looking there today too.
He's currently on there right now, and he said that he's been warned about us. But you guys knew that already. See, you can't throw that one at us right now because you already knew that we were going to try to suck you into something as soon as you saw the title. Had to hand his wallet to his wife. I'm sorry. Tell your wife we apologize. It is not our intention. We're just trying to help out the gaming community.
Hand your wallet to your wife and point her to the Monpop Kickstarter.
There you go.
Exactly.
Christmas is coming, right?
Yep.
Exactly. Next year. Christmas next year.
So one of the other things that I think stands out was the dice economy that Monpop has. It has
Beautiful
your
system.
action dice, your boost dice, and then eventually your power dice that allow your monsters and your regular units better probability of rolling that attack and landing it and doing big huge damage, and like you mentioned, throw somebody through a building. That's a lot of fun, but it's really that balance of, okay, I need these over here, so I can't use them, I gotta wait, and you're like setting stuff up, like you said, chess. You're kind of
the white dice were your action dice, and you use them to do anything. So the nice thing was, like, when you start the game, all 10 of your white dice are in the unit pool, so you can only do stuff with the units because only they have the dice to do stuff. But then when you use them, they go over to the monster pool. Now your monster can act. But now if you choose to use, say, only half of the dice in your monster pool, you still you have 5 and 5. You now have a choice. Next turn, do you want to go units or do you want to go monster? and you can use whatever dice you have available in either pool. So it's just that whole leaving yourself available to take, as we say, a double turn with the monster, because the monsters are obviously the more effective ones.
Yeah.
And it's just that system was just, when I started learning that was part of what just like blew my mind about Monsterpocalypse, about this whole taking the double turn and when to take the double turn and what you could do with it, and just it's just so much goodness in that.
Yep. Now, what do we like about the game? Let's move to this. Game system, models, fluff. The monsters, right? It's very thematic. It kind of brings me back to when we were a kid watching Godzilla movies, or in my case, I liked Gamera more. But it's the same thing. It's giant monster in Japan,
Right.
and he's destroying the city, fighting, the bad monster, because he just wants to destroy everything. Well, they kind of both do the same thing.
The good monster just wants to destroy some things.
Yeah.
Not quite as much.
I mean, the good one's going to protect the humans, but he's going to destroy the city just the same.
Yeah, I mean,
it's good fun, right? That's kind of a throwback to the kids.
Yeah, I grew up with those movies, and that was one of my loved them since I was very young, and so I mean I do have that connection with them as well.
Okay, and I also thought it was fun when you get into the game, pulling off those big combos, and we're talking about balancing that dice and setting up for something huge, like you said. Wrestling, power slamming on your opponent's monster through a building was so fun to see them laying on the ground, and you're picturing your head of bursting into fire and stuff, and it's like, all right.
Well, you haven't played in a while, Eric, but the White Deja now has an ability called Suplex.
Oh, so he can pick them up from behind and.
Well, no, what he does is when you're doing a body slam, he can move one square before he repositions for the body slam.
Okay.
So it's like you're not necessarily adjacent to the building for this thing, but you move one square. Now you are. It's just, it opens up all kinds of new possibilities for the body slam. It's amazing. Yeah, it's just one simple rule, but it's just like, again, just opens everything up. It's fantastic.
And that's the strategy, like we mentioned, the strategy in it. So, here, I'm going to throw this up real quick.
I'm going to throw this in here real quick, because not everybody is board game strategy related. Like I'm not. I just want to put cool models on the board. But since we are indie invasion, if Monsterpocalypse doesn't appeal to you, you can check out Ganesha Games, and they actually have something. And I've played this before, and it's a lot of fun. And I would need all of those models in order to do it that you just scrolled past.
Yeah, look at all these. Look at all those you can.
There's actually two games that they make, called, one's Mighty Monsters and the other one's called Monsters and Robots, and their PDF, they're like $8 for the book, and it's basically a skirmish game, miniature agnostic. So if you wanted to play it purely skirmish game style outside of the board and everything, you could do that as well. Those are really cool looking.
You need that one, Mac. I saw this earlier. I said this got Mac all over.
Oh yeah, I could use that for like 500 different games.
Yep.
But actually, no, Eric, when you were looking at all the agendas that are there, that's not even all of them.
That's not all of them, huh?
Well, I know, because they've come up with like some new Aztec kind of one. There's a plant one, and I didn't see them listed there. So there are new ones that they.
So okay, that's a little out of date. That's cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that's so dangerous.
Yeah, I like the way that their site's organized too. You can search by just the different factions, material, or even just the agenda. Yeah, they have a lot. Here's a bunch of their starter sets. I have some of the older starter sets that came out that I still have yet. Shame on me, yet to do something with. But like I said, I mentioned that's because some of my local crew that I used to run with for this game,
right,
don't really play the game anymore. So
yeah.
Well, you put those on eBay and help fund your Kickstarter then.
There you go.
Those suckers, that was one of the things. Those were, I think, $50 at Gen Con, and I still had to buy more to be able to use them. And I still don't have enough, probably, because you said 2 monsters now, right? Well, I only have 1 and 1.
Well, you can do single monster, but the game really is more focused around the 2 monster. Yeah, definitely.
Put him in there. There we go. So that's just a little bit of a taste of.
Yeah, those monsters are just phenomenal looking. The sculpts and everything. They're because for me, this is really probably going to be more from a modeler's perspective for me, because I don't know that I would do the Kickstarter. When I play a game that's strategy, like where I'm really having to sit down and think about what I'm doing like that, I'll play chess or Onitama. That's when I want to think about strategy. When I put my miniatures on the board, that's not what I want to do. I could, because I'm so busy telling a story that I don't really care. I don't really care about the rest of it.
I want to get this one.
These minis are phenomenal. Oh, that's awesome.
I like that
Sergeant
one.
Titanica. We just watched Monsters versus Aliens, the movie, the other day too, with the kids.
Or how about this one?
I thought this one was a joke when I first saw it coming out. I thought, okay, like a giant corgi, really?
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's hilarious.
I think a kid would like this, though. You know, I could totally see that's what this is geared toward.
It's a good monster, but it's just like I didn't think it was. I thought it was like a joke, but anyway, it's real.
But yeah, this is just kind of a sneak peek for you guys.
Definitely some really cool looking stuff.
Yeah. Now, not all of these are going to be available in the Kickstarter. I mean, you're talking about the Kickstarter and stuff.
Yeah,
right
this
now.
is the second edition models, the ones that you guys, if you get these, you'll have to build them, paint them, all that kind of stuff.
The resin, possibly resin/metal.
Okay. So since we mentioned the Kickstarter, let's go into that, because these are some of the questions that I got. People wanted to know what it was, why back it, that kind of stuff. And so basically what the Kickstarter is that Mythic's doing is it's like a cheaper sets with plastic models. So they come all pre-assembled, and it basically makes it more accessible for general people to jump in and play, right?
Yeah, they call it the board game version. So I think the part of the thing is I was trying to talk to some people about what's meant by that, and I think Mac would like this, because whereas the other sets have just paper, this has like almost like a hardcover with the boards. So you unfold the boards, and that's your maps.
Okay.
The maps are much more detailed, look more realistic,
right,
than the paper maps. Much more sort of evocative of the theme of the game and everything. And I like too that you look at the models, you can see that there's textured bases on them, whereas the models they have is like a clear base, and a lot of people are trying to keep the base clear so they can see what's underneath it, because sometimes you want to know what spaces you're stepping on. So you're just getting a lot of models, but I mean, it's so much cheaper. It's crazy how much you'd be saving by getting in on the Kickstarter. I mean, I'm saying to anybody, if you have any interest at all in Monsterpocalypse, get this. I mean, it's just it's like some of the things. It's like we were talking about, like there's a building set. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a set of buildings. And it's like $29, and it's got like 6 or something buildings in it. Each building usually is $29 by itself.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all, and that's. Well, I won't say always, but that's 90% of the time the case with Kickstarter. That's the appeal. And then, of course, they appeal to you. You don't want to miss out on this, right?
Yes and no. I mean, I will agree. There's often good deals on Kickstarter, but it's incredibly good deals.
Yeah.
I mean, really, truly it is. I have no affiliation with Privateer Press or Mythic. I'm not getting any kickbacks from them on this at all.
What?
I know, right? You would think that someone of my legendary stature
I would think so.
Yeah, but
yeah,
you're the Spazfist from the Spaz and Wappy comics.
Exactly.
That's me.
There it is.
Rechberg. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, those are.
I think I bought my Statue of Liberty for like about $29 Canadian. Now that's $29 American, but still, look at all that you're getting for that. That's insane.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, and there's lots of stretch goals.
And so the stretch goals, you get like Simian Incorporated. So you get like 2 apes, you get White Dejan, General Hondo, you get Gorgatron and Cybercon, plus a bunch of units, plus the Jungle Fortress, which is the ape installation, plus the Ubercorp installation, plus then any stretch goals which are applied to it. It's only like $35 or something. Yeah, like there's Mutant Menace for $35. incredible. Like, I mean, I'm not going to get everything in this, but there's
there's
certainly
a lot of add-ons that it's $35 a piece.
Yeah.
But man, if you get everything, it can add up. Now, one
There's
of
the
the
Simian
questions
Corp I was talking about.
is this stuff, none of this stuff's exclusive, right? This is stuff they'll eventually probably release.
Well, I mean, it's not exclusive from this. I mean, Privateer Press sells all this stuff.
Okay.
I mean, you can buy White Deja now in resin.
True. That's true.
But will it come out in plastic later separately? I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Because I know that's a big concern for people that see stuff like this on Kickstarter. Is like, can I buy this in retail later? And it seems like you can, because usually if you can't, they'll put Kickstarter exclusive or something on it.
Well, you'll be able to buy it from Spaz on eBay later. I'll tell you that. Like, I'm probably going to get the core set now. And there's a lot of stuff there that I've already painted. I don't want to paint again. So I will probably just sell some of the stuff off like after I've got it, because it's just too good of a deal to pass up.
Yeah, and there's what I like too is they kind of take it easy on you, and you look at this actual pledges. Is they got the $1, of course, just to keep in the loop. But they have $60 for a veteran pledge if you have a lot of stuff already. You just want some of this, some of the updated type stuff. They have the Smasher pledge, 120, where you get the full core box and all that stuff, and then there's 160.
Let's just talk about that keep in the loop pledge though. Like that $1, I learned late in my Kickstarter career about the benefit of that one. It's not Privateer Press. It's probably Monpoc. Yeah, that died out because of the movie deal. They've admitted that now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do remember that. Yeah, they kind of got their
Tim
hands
Burton.
tied.
There's more talk about that. There's been talked about with this Mythic Kickstarter, but the $1 pledge. Yes, it keeps you in the loop. You get all the emails and everything, but the benefit is like months down the road after you've had time to save all your shekels, you can then turn around and say, you know what, I'm pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
And you can then up your pledge at that point. But if you haven't put that $1 in, you're locked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
For $1, it gives you the option somewhere down the line. And I realized that once, and once I realized, I'm like, wow. Yeah, and I started doing a lot of $1 bids on some Kickstarters just to think, like, do I want to or do I not want to? Because it's nice to be able to have that opportunity later to decide. Don't necessarily go for the impulse buy, but just if you want time to think about it.
Yeah. Clem said it's Privateer Press. Who knows how long they'll support it. Former press ganger. He's not salty at all.
So, and it looks like on the Kickstarter, they have a lot of videos for you guys to check out. To actually watch
French.
Yes, they got everything. They got it all covered because Mythic
is
it'll sound good in
French.
And beautiful animations too of like the rampage. They see Gorgadratron rampaging through the buildings and everything.
That's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, these models
it's definitely very cool. And I mean, if nothing else, it's worth it to look at the models for people that aren't interested in the game. It's got cool models, and for a lot of us, that's an addiction right there. But the game does look cool if you're into board game-ish style tactical games. It looks very cool. It looks like it's a really good Kickstarter to jump in on. So you guys should definitely go over and check it out. I'm going to go look at it. No promises, but I'm going to go check it out because I already saw a couple of the models I think I'm not going to be able to live without. I saw they have a giant rhino guy, and I have at least 3 games that will fit in. So
yeah. So if you guys do want to check it out and decide, you have about 8 days left to decide on the Kickstarter. If all else, like Spaz says, go
or
put
a year if you pledge $1.
Yeah, a year if you have $1, or whenever the pledge manager comes out, basically. If all else, go put that buck in there, and then you can research it more, look into it more, watch all these videos they have,
learn French, and figure out how they play it there,
or message Spaz up and he can translate for you. Right
there, you go.
There's also a very active community on Discord, and a lot of people are playing the current version of Monsterpocalypse on Tabletop Simulator.
Oh, okay, that's a good way to try it out, actually.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So, and
Okay.
they do a lot of tournaments and stuff on there, and people just sort of playing casual games and whatever. So you can check that out. Yeah.
Definitely. We'll check out their Discord. And don't forget, first of all, I think we should say thank you to Spaz for joining us and regaling us with his expertise in Monster Apocalypse. Go check
Yeah,
out his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I was
Teaching
wrong
with
about
board games.
nothing.
If you're curious as to what his YouTube channel is about, it's about teaching with board games.
Yep.
That's why he calls it Teaching with Board Games. But go over and check it out. He's got some cool videos over there. We've even managed to convince him to do some battle reports on skirmish games, because good math in skirmish games too. So go over and check that out. We really appreciate you being here, Spaz.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Like I said, you were I knew you were still in deep in this game, so you'd be the best one to go to with questions if even we didn't know.
I never lost faith that the game was dead forever. I knew it would come back. I always held on to the faith. All those years of people saying, nope, it's gone, just let it go. I couldn't.
You had faith in your monsters. I love it.
It runs deep, man. It just runs deep.
That is okay, man. That is okay. All right. Well, Eric. Should we? No, I think it's you. Is it Spaz?
Give me a script and I'll do it.
All right.
I think it's your turn. I don't know. You've got the Indie Invasion hat on, so I think it should be you.
Okay. I'll take us out. So, guys, thank you for joining us for Indie Invasion Shorts. I should have took a drink of water before I started. Every Thursday nights. If you guys want more audio podcast, check us out on. Thank you there. Check us out on Podbean, iTunes, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Stitcher, Spotify, Pocket Cast. iTunes is now called Apple Podcast. I thought I changed that. Threw me.
You were
check
wrong.
us also on the internets, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and drop us a line at indieinvasion@gmail.com if you have any other questions about this spotlight game that we talked about tonight. And jump into the Discord. There's a lot of people jumping in there, sharing projects that they're working on. If they have questions, there's a good community growing in there to help each other out. Love seeing that support in there. And check out our original sponsor, CoastalCon, at coastaltext.com for all information about that and links to all these places I'm talking about. And if you love what we're doing, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/indieinvasion. And Spaz needs to get his mini skirt yet. You can find that at redbubble.com. People, Indie Invasion. It's on there somewhere, Spaz. I got to highlight it for you.
On there. There has to be. There has to be.
I've looked. I have looked.
I'm going to go look. I'm going to make sure you find that sucker.
We talked about it. We're going to put in a special request for mini skirt.
That's right.
That's what we're going to do.
All right.
Well,
challenge accepted.
Thanks again, Spaz, for joining us tonight as our special guest. We love, your involvement. I know you're my good buddy, and you're checking out what I, am doing here with Mac, and you turned into a valued community member, which I love seeing you urging on other people in the community. And
I look forward to it every Thursday night. I really do.
Cool. All right, guys. Until next time, when you're out there smashing buildings, prepare for the invasion.